Assalamualaikum. I'm Tala Suhail. I welcome you all to Virtual University's program on Personality Psychology. Dear students, today is our lecture number 27, and in this lecture number 27, we are talking about Gordon Allport's trait theory of personality. जनाब, बात आपसे कुछ यूँ रही थी कि पिछला लेक्चर जो था उसमें हमने we began talking about what are traits. हमने गॉर्डन ऑलपॉर्ट का बायोग्राफिकल स्केच आपके साथ किया. हमने ये देखा कि हाउ गॉर्डन ऑलपॉर्ट इज डिफाइनिंग पर्सनैलिटी. देन ही गेव अस ए क्राइटेरिया फॉर एडिक्वेट पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस क्राइटेरिया ऑफ एडिक्वेट पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी there are 5 considerations which every personality theory should meet in order to be an adequate and good sound personality theory. और हमने ये देखा कि गॉर्डन ऑलपॉर्ट की अपनी पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी जो है वो इन 5 क्राइटेरिया पे पूरी उतरती है, इस यार्ड स्टिक पे पूरी उतरती है. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन एडिक्वेट पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी. देन वी टॉक्ड अबाउट ऑलपॉर्ट्स कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ट्रेड्स. हमने ट्रेड्स की कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स देखी जनाब, और हम अभी ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स जो थे वो उसके ऊपर फोकस कर रहे थे. देयर आर सम 8 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. वी फिनिश्ड 5 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एंड वी आर टू कंप्लीट द रेस्ट ऑफ द 3. उसको मुकम्मल करने के बाद वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट काइंड्स ऑफ ट्रेड्स. हम बात करेंगे कार्डिनल ट्रेड्स की, सेंट्रल ट्रेड्स की, सेकेंडरी ट्रेड्स की. देन वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट the concept of self, an 8-stage developmental sequence that starts at birth and goes up till adulthood. और गॉर्डन ऑलपॉर्ट जो है वो इस सेल्फहुड और ये आई और मी की डेवलपमेंट के लिए हमें 8 स्टेजेस के एक सीक्वेंस दे रहा है जो बर्थ से शुरू होता है और अप टिल अडल्टहुड जाता है. उसके बाद विल टॉक अबाउट फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी. 2 तरह की ऑटोनॉमी की बात करेंगे. फिर आपसे बात होगी जनाब स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज की, जिसमें थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू, इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू, एस्थेटिक वैल्यू, सोशल वैल्यू, पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू, रिलीजियस वैल्यू. विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दीज 6 वैल्यूज. और फिर ऑफ कोर्स वी आर गोइंग टू समराइज एंड एवेलुएट दिस पर्टिकुलर थ्योरी. सो लेट अस बिगिन. We are saying that a trait is a predisposition or way to respond in a manner to various types of or kinds of stimuli. Trait refers to a permanent enduring pattern of our behavior. Trait refers to generalized action tendencies. और हम ये जानते हैं कि जो traits हैं they can easily be classified under 3 headings: cardinal, central, सेकेंडरी. इसके अलावा भी हैं, लेकिन ये 3 ट्रेड्स जो हैं दे आर अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिग्री ऑफ देयर परवेसिवनेस इन पर्सनैलिटी. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ ट्रेड्स, और जनाब हमने उसमें कहा था कि गॉर्डन ऑलपॉर्ट हैज गिवन अस 8 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ ट्रेड, जिसमें से 5 हमने आपके साथ पहले कर ली थी. वील सिंपली रिपीट देम वेरी ब्रीफली and then move on to the 3 characteristics which were left behind, finish them, and then begin with kinds of traits. So pehle characteristics of traits, let us finish that component and then move on to the other part. Gordon Allport, in an article entitled Traits Revisited, in which he summarized all that he had learned in response to question what is a trait of personality. In this article, he proposed that 8 basic criteria define a personality trait. A trait has more than nominal existence. Number 2, a trait is more generalized than a habit. Number 3, a trait is dynamic or at least determinative in behavior. Number 4, a trait's existence may be established empirically. And number 5, a trait is only relatively independent of other traits. Dear students, we are talking to you about 8 characteristics of traits. और हमने ये कहा कि a trait is more than its nominal existence. Traits जो हैं, they are not hypothetical entities, they are not fictions, they are real things. दूसरी बात हमने आपसे ये कही कि trait is more than a generalized habit. Number 3, we said that traits are dynamic. And number 4, we said that they can be empirically tested and they can be verified and their empirical evidence can be established. Number 5, हमने कहा traits, though there may be a correlation between them, but they are independent of one another. जनाब ये तो वो 5 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं जो पहले से establish हो गई, जो हमने पहले से कर ली. Let us discuss the rest of 3. Number 6, a trait is not synonymous with moral or social judgment, despite the fact that many traits such as sincerity, loyalty, greed are subject to conventional social judgment. They still represent true traits of personality. Ideally, one would first discover traits as they exist in a given individual and then seek neutral, devaluated words to identify them. Sixth important characteristics, that traits should not be equated with moral or social judgment. Traits simply tell us how they are something which are neutral words, and these neutral words are used to identify. Simple neutral words used in identification. So number 6, traits should not be equated with moral or social judgment. Number 7, a trait may be viewed in light of either the personality that contains it or its distribution in the population at large. Number 8, acts or even habits that are inconsistent with the trait are not proof of the non-existence of the trait. As an illustration, E, who is characteristically neat in terms of her personal appearance, with never a hair out of place, and her attire is impeccable, she possesses the trait of neatness. But one would never know this by examining her desk, room, or car. Her personal belongings in each case are carelessly arranged, cluttered, and downright sloppy. Why the apparent contradiction? So, जनाब 8वीं characteristic, and that pertains that traits are even habits that are inconsistent with a trait are not proof of the non-existence of the trait. जनाब बाज़ औक़ात ऐसा है कि एक इंडिविजुअल ऐसा है जो कि बड़ी जिसकी अपीयरेंस नीट, क्लीन और टाइडी है, और उसको देखने के बाद आपको ऐसा लगता है द पर्सन हैज़ अ ट्रेड ऑफ बीइंग वेरी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड एंड वेरी सिस्टमैटिक, लेकिन ये आप उसके ड्रेस और उसके अटायर को देख के कह रहे हैं. इफ यू एंटर द रूम ऑफ दैट इंडिविजुअल, दैट मे बी वेरी स्लॉपी, थिंग्स वुड बी नॉट अरेंज, things would be lying here and there, so that would be a contradiction of what you observe and what actually the individual is. Dear students, we have tried to cover the 8 characteristics of trait, construct trait as given to us by Gordon Allport. जनाब अब आपसे बात करते हैं kinds of traits की. Kinds of traits is another important concept. और हमने इसमें आपसे कहा था कि फॉर Allport there are 3 important traits: cardinal traits, central traits, secondary traits. So let us talk about cardinal traits. If a trait is extremely pervasive, so pervasive that almost all a person's activities can be traced to its influence, it is a cardinal trait in Allport's system. This highly generalized disposition, or a kind of master sentiment or ruling passion, makes its possessor famous or infamous. Allport insisted that very few people possess a cardinal trait. The meaning of a cardinal trait may be readily grasped by considering the many trait adjectives derived from historical and fictional characters. When someone is referred to as being a Scrooge or as being Hitler. बात आपसे जनाब हो रही है kinds of traits की, और हमने ये कहा कि for Gordon Allport, there are 3 traits which are important. The first one is cardinal trait, central traits or secondary traits, and these traits are being expressed in the order or degree of pervasiveness. So cardinal trait refers to the most highest degree of trait with which is pervasive, which is prevalent in an individual. और आप ये कह सकते हैं कि ये एक वो ट्रेड है जिसकी बेसिस पे यू कैन लेबल अ पर्सन. अब हमारे पास हिस्ट्री में और कुछ फिक्शनल ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स हैं, कुछ हिस्टोरिकल फिगर्स और कुछ इस तरह के फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स हैं जिनको कार्डिनल ट्रेड के ऊपर लेबल किया हुआ है. मसलन हिटलर, व्हेन आई यूज द लेबल हिटलर फॉर समबडी, so that is referring to that individual's brutal, aggressive cardinal trait. और जब मैं किसी के लिए स्क्रूज का वर्ड यूज करती हूँ और स्क्रूज का टाइटल या ट्रेड यूज करती हूँ, तो दैट इज अ फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर विच इज वेरी माइजर, विच इज वेरी मिजरेबल. और ये रिफ्लेक्ट करता है जब मैं किसी के लिए स्क्रूज का टाइटल या ट्रेड यूज करी हूँ, दैट पर्टिकुलर इंडिविजुअल इज ऑल्सो वेरी माइजर लाइक, या वो बहुत कंजूस है. सो कार्डिनल refers to the most pervasive, prevalent, enduring trait on the basis of which you label a person. Examples: Hitler's cardinal traits include brutal killings of innocent civilians. Some personalities have many traits such as high intelligence, efficient and correct decision making, but the cardinal traits would include commitment and dedication to their institutions. तो जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है पहली इम्पॉर्टेंट सेट ऑफ ट्रेड्स एंड दैट इज कार्डिनल ट्रेड्स. और हमने कहा ये वो ट्रेड्स हैं जिनकी बेसिस पे वन सेंट्रल वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ विच यू लेबल ए पर्सन. सेकेंड कैटेगरी ऑफ ट्रेड्स, सेंट्रल ट्रेड्स. Less pervasive but still quite generalized characteristics of individual, what Allport termed central traits, the building blocks of personality. These traits might best be regarded as those attributes which would be stressed in writing a carefully defined letter of recommendation, such as outgoing, sentimental, attentive, sociable, or vivacious. Example: in Quaid-e-Azam's personality, central traits included honesty, truthfulness. Dear students, we are talking to you about another important set of traits, and that is central traits. हमने ये कहा कि सेंट्रल ट्रेड्स आर लेस परवेसिव बट इक्वली इम्पॉर्टेंट. दे आर द मेजर बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी. और ये वो ट्रेड्स हैं जिनकी बेसिस पे हम आपकी पर्सनैलिटी को जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं. और इसमें अगेन वी हैव टेकन फ्यू वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जांपल्स, जिसमें कायद-ए-आज़म भी हैं, फ्लोरेंस नाइटिंगेल भी हैं, और एट प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट से भी 2 एग्जांपल्स लिए हैं कि वो सेंट्रल ट्रेड्स जिसमें इंडिविजुअल इज वेरी मच हार्ड वर्किंग अराउंड द क्लॉक. नाउ वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट 2 सेट ऑफ ट्रेड्स. एक हमने कहा कार्डिनल, दूसरे हमने कहा सेंट्रल. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट थर्ड कैटेगरी ऑफ ट्रेड्स एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड secondary traits. Dispositions which are less conspicuous, less generalized, less consistent, and thus less relevant to the definition of personality are called secondary traits, such as food preferences, specific attitudes, and other situationally determined characteristics of the person would be classified under this rubric. Dear students, we are talking to you about personality traits, और हमने कहा तीसरी कैटेगरी ऑफ ट्रेड्स हमारे पास हैं which are labeled as secondary traits which are less pervasive, less important, and they refer to, let's say, preferences for food, कि आपको खाना कौन सा पसंद है, कपड़े कौन से पसंद है, रंग कपड़ों में कौन सा पसंद है, परफ्यूम आप कौन सा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. So that refers to the secondary set of traits. Consider, for instance, a person whose central traits are dominance and assertiveness, which he manifests in practically every interpersonal encounter. This person might also have a secondary trait of submissiveness, which he displays only in relation to police, who dutifully stops him for speeding, running red lights, and ignoring stop signs. He would respond, yes officer, no officer, you are right officer. जनाब, बात आपसे हो रही है काइंड्स ऑफ ट्रेड्स की, और हमने कहा हमारे पास एक ऐसे इंडिविजुअल की मिसाल है who has this cardinal trait, who manifests this cardinal trait of being dominant and assertive. लेकिन उसकी सेंट्रल ट्रेड भी है उसके अंदर, एंड दैट इज सबमिसिवनेस. लेकिन ये सबमिसिवनेस की ट्रेड उस वक्त एक्सप्रेस होगी व्हेन ही इज ब्रेकिंग लॉ. रेड लाइट है, सिग्नल उसने तोड़ा है और पुलिस अफसर ने उसे पकड़ा है, और वो वहां पे उस वक्त कहते हैं यस ऑफिसर, नो ऑफिसर, यू आर राइट ऑफिसर. सो ही इज बीइंग वेरी सबमिसिव, दो ही हैज दैट cardinal trait of being very domineering and being very assertive, but over here he is being very submissive. जनाब, एक और set of traits जो हमने आपसे शुरू में बात की थी, common and individual traits. Allport also distinguished between common and individual traits. The former common traits, also called dimensional or nomothetic traits, include any generalized disposition to which most people within a culture can be reasonably compared. We might say, for example, that some people are more assertive than others, or that some people are more polite than others. The logic for assuming the existence of common traits is that members of a given culture are subject to similar evolutionary and social influences. Therefore, they develop roughly comparable modes of adjustment. Examples: it includes proficiency in the use of language, political or social attitudes, value orientations, anxiety, and conformity. The majority of people within our culture could be measurably compared with one another on these common dimensions. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब कॉमन ट्रेड्स की, और हमने कहा कॉमन ट्रेड्स वो ट्रेड्स हैं जो कि एक ग्रुप में पाई जाती हैं. A group of people belonging to a specific culture, जिसमें किसी एक शख्स की ज़बान पे किस कदर अबूर उसे हासिल है या किस किस्म के लिबास पहनते हैं. So common traits usually refer to a set of traits which is common, which is prevalent in a group of people belonging to a specific culture, being exposed to a specific set of variables. So on the basis of that, we can label them as having common traits. So dear students, that refers to the fourth category. अब जनाब बात आपसे होनी है एक बहुत अहम कंस्ट्रक्ट और कॉन्सेप्ट की, जो गॉर्डन ऑलपॉट की थ्योरी का हिस्सा है, और इसे हम कहते हैं द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेल्फ. Now, this concept of self, it develops through 8 stages. There are 8 developmental periods which an individual moves through. और ये जो 8 के 8 developmental periods हैं, they begin from birth and they go up till adulthood. और यहाँ पे the concept of self, I, me, selfhood develops. This I, me, selfhood is developing through these sequential 8 stages. So let us talk about them. The proprium, a real self. Personality embodies a unity, consistency, integration of traits. It is therefore reasonable to suppose that there is an overall principle that unifies traits, attitudes, values, motives, and experiences. For Allport, the problem of identifying and describing the nature of personality integration requires an all-inclusive construct such as the self, ego, or style of life. So Allport introduced a new term, the proprium. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब एक बहुत अहम कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट की जो हमें गॉर्डन ऑलपॉट ने दिया, जिसको उसने लेबल किया proprium. Now proprium refers to the self. Now this self as the known, or the self as experienced as me, the subjective part of experience which is usually labeled as me or I. It's the selfhood, and this selfhood is very important. और इस selfhood के बारे में हमें एक developmental theory दी जिसकी 8 stages हैं, which begins from birth and goes up till adulthood. तो ये जो पहली stage है इस proprium के development की, it is called the sense of bodily self. A sense of one's own body, including bodily sensations, attests to one's existence and therefore remains a lifelong anchor for self-awareness. Number 2, the sense of self-identity. The second stage of the proprium to unfold self-identity is more evident through language. The child recognizes himself as a distinct and constant point of reference. Unquestionably, the most important anchorage for one's self-identity is one's own name, that is, T or me in the mirror. Clothing, toys, other precious possessions also strengthen this sense of identity, but identity is not firmly established all at once. Dear students, we are talking to you about the concept of proprium. इस concept of proprium की सबसे पहली stage है sense of bodily self. ये जो sense of bodily self है, it's the focus is on bodily awareness. यानी the baby knows its arms, its legs. So the self is embodied in the concept of a body. So the sense of bodily self, हम कहते हैं एक physiological existence की awareness है उस बच्चे को through a set of sensations related to bodily sensations. Number 2 is the sense of self identity. ये वो stage है, second stage है जहाँ पे language आ गए और शीशे में देख के बच्चे को पता है कि this is me. The clothing, the toys and the other precious possessions that identify him. So stage number 2, the sense of self-identity. The child begins to recognize himself in the mirror, his clothing, his toys, his precious possessions और language आ गया. Though अभी वो that language is of a very crude form but it's there. Stage number 3, the sense of self-esteem or pride. Essentially, self-esteem is individual's evaluation of himself or herself, the urge, the want to do everything for oneself and take all the credit is one of the most conspicuous aspects of a 2-year-old's behavior. Parents frequently consider this the age of negativism, since the child resists almost any adult proposal as a threat to integrity and autonomy. Later, by the age of 4 or 5, self-esteem acquires a competitive flavor, reflected by child's delighted I beat you when she or he wins a game. Third important stage, and that is the stage of sense of self-esteem or pride. ये जो self-esteem और pride वाली stage है, ये सबसे important है. The concept of self-esteem is beginning to take shape. और ये वाली फीलिंग कि जब आपने किसी को किसी गेम में या किसी चीज में हरा दिया तो यू टेंड टू एंजॉय इट. Number 4, the sense of self-extension. From approximately 4 to 6 years of age, the proprium is elaborated through self-extension. That is the sense that although other people and things are not inside my physical body, they are still very much a part of me and they are mine. With it comes jealousy, possessiveness. When Hassan says, this is my ball, my mummy, my sister, my dog, my house, are regarded as warm parts of oneself and are to be guarded against loss, especially against takeover by another child. Later we extend our loyalty to our families, our nation, and we can also become preoccupied with material possessions in this respect. So the fourth stage where the child begins to develop jealous sense of possession. तो jealousy और sense of possession के my mother, my toys, my things, my dog, and does not want these things or persons to be shared or taken over by another person. So that is the fourth stage. The fifth stage, the self-image, how others view me, is another aspect of selfhood that emerges during childhood. Now is the time when the child realizes that parents expect him or her to be good, while at times he or she is naughty, and as yet, however, the child has no clearly developed conscience, nor any image of how she or he would like to be as an adult. Example, little Zaima has concept of good acts desired by family and to refrain from naughty act, but she has no concept of conscience. So this is a stage where the concept of good or bad is developing, लेकिन conscience का या जिसे हम ज़मीर कहते हैं अभी वो develop होना शुरू नहीं हुआ, but a crude sense of what is wanted by the family, by the parent, and what is not wanted by the parents is still not there. The sense of self as a rational Cooper. Between 6 and 12 years of age, the child begins to fully realize that he or she has the rational capacity to find solution to one's problem and thereby cope effectively with reality demands. Reflective and formal thought appear, and the child begins to think about thinking. But the child does not yet trust himself or herself to be an independent moral agent, but rather dogmatically believes that his or her family, religion, and peer group are right, and this stage of development reflects intense moral and social conformity. For 6-year-old Hassan, reflective and formal thought appear, but he dogmatically believes that his family, religion, and peer group are right, and this stage of development reflects intense moral and social conformity. जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है 6th स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट की. सेल्फहुड इज मोर मैच्योरिंग एट द एज ऑफ 6 to 12, और यहाँ पे कॉन्सेप्ट ये आ गया है कि माय फैमिली, माय रिलीजन इज द राइट वन, और दूसरे एक बहुत सही जो बच्चे के अंदर सेंस इस वक्त डेवलप होता है वो है मोरालिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट, व्हाट इज राइट एंड व्हाट इज रॉन्ग. The child for the first time begins to think about solving his or her problems on her own. तो आप कह सकते हैं to a crude level, reflective thinking begins to take shape. 7th important stage, the appropriate striving. Alport believed that the core of the problem for adolescence is selection of an occupation or other life goal. The adolescent knows that the future must follow a plan, and in this sense, selfhood assumes a dimension entirely free from childhood. Pursuing long-range goals, having a sense of directedness, intentionality in striving for defined objectives, imparting to a life a sense of purpose. This is the essence of self-striving, although it may be quite elementary in adolescence. Example, the adolescent Ali knows that in future he must follow a plan, pursuing long range goals, having a sense of directedness in striving for a bright career. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब stages of development की, और इन stages of development में हमने ये कहा कि a child passes through the concept of self. एक self का concept शुरू होता है birth से, and it goes up till adolescent adulthood. और birth से जब वो concept of self शुरू हुआ तो firstly it is only bodily sensation, then the concept of I begins to take shape when the newborn begins to perceive himself in the mirror, when a child begins to develop the concept of family, parents. So gradually this concept from bodily sensations to set of my clothes, my mother, my family, self-esteem, pride, and then what occupation, what vocation one should choose. So we can say this selfhood goes through a series of stages, and it develops, it matures into I and me. So selfhood matures following a sequence of stages. जनाब, that is as far as this particular concept of proprium or self or selfhood is concerned, जिसमें Allport का focus है, it begins from birth and goes up till adulthood. Let us talk about functional autonomy. Functional autonomy क्या है और इस functional autonomy की क्या आया कोई types भी हैं और इससे क्या gain? Basic to Allport's trait theory is the underlying idea that personality is a dynamic, motivated, growing system. In fact, Allport held that any theory of personality centers upon its analysis of the nature of motivation. So for Allport, personality is motivation. It consists of a set of motives. For Allport, all theories of personality try to describe motives. So when we are talking about functional autonomy, we are also going to talk about motives. We are also going to talk about what role motives have in personality. Allport proposed that an adequate theory of human motivation must meet 4 requirements. First, it must recognize the knowledge about a person's past helps to reveal the present course of his life. Allport believed in his words, past motives explain nothing unless they are also present motives. Thus, it is the current state of the individual and not what happened during toilet training or weaning that is central. Second, it must be a pluralistic theory allowing for motives of many types. Many theorists hoping to unravel the complex nature of human motivation have suggested that all motives are reducible to one type, that is, a few basic drives or the unconscious और सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन. जनाब, बात आपसे हो रही है कि फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी की और हमने ये कहा कि फॉर गॉर्डन ऑलपोर्ट इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो व्हाट मोटिव्स एन इंडिविजुअल हैज. और जब भी मोटिव्स की बात आएगी तो हर पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी जो है वो ह्यूमन मोटिवेशन के साथ डील करती है. इट्स डायरेक्टली कंसर्न विद ह्यूमन मोटिवेशन. जब भी हम ह्यूमन मोटिवेशन की बात करते हैं तो अकॉर्डिंग टू Allport देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स दैट वन शुड नो अबाउट मोटिव्स. नंबर 1, one should be conscious about motives. Number 2, one should be fully aware of one's past motives, what past one inherits. और तीसरी इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये कि one should very much be aware of one's present motives. So awareness, past and knowing one's present motives. Fourth important thing, one should have a clear cognition, a clear idea of one's long range intentions and plans. तो ये 4 चीज़ें अगर हैं तो you very much know, you are very much fully aware about the functional autonomy. For Gordon Allport, the most significant question is, what do you want to be? What do you want to be doing 5 years from now? Or what are you trying to do with your life? An adequate theory of motivation must therefore address itself to what sort of future a person is trying to bring about. And fourth, the theory must allow for concrete uniqueness of motives in contrast to theorists who assume a schedule of motives common to all. Allport insisted that the study of motivation must focus on how motives function in unique ways in individuals. Dear students, we are talking to you about Gordon Allport's concept of functional autonomy, where he is focusing on motives, that is, what motives are, what characteristics motives have and what role motives play in personality. हमने ये कहा कि motives के बारे में awareness होना, one should know one's past motives, one should be aware of one's current motives, और motives, the uniqueness of motives should also be very much clear to an individual. जनाब, ये तो as far as the discussion goes. Let us talk about functional autonomy with two references. Gordon Allport talks about functional autonomy is of two types. Number one, preservative functional autonomy. पहले को वो preservative functional autonomy कह रहा है और दूसरे को वो appropriate या self functional autonomy का नाम दे रहे हैं. So for Allport, there are two types of motives that are there in an individual. एक तो है preservative functional autonomy या एक वो set of motives है जो आपके को प्रिजर्व करने, आपके सर्वाइवल के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, और दूसरा सेट ऑफ मोटिव्स है जो कि आपके सेल्फ, दैट आई मी सेल्फ एस्टीम के सर्वाइवल के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. सो दैट इज एज फार एज फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी इज कंसर्न. Preservative functional autonomy blindly follows repetitive activities, that is getting up at 7 even after retirement. Appropriate functional autonomy refers to individuals' acquired interests, values, attitudes and intentions. Appropriate autonomy, it is what impels an individual to respond to life's challenges, resulting in the attainment of progressively higher levels of authentic maturity and growth. जनाब, बात आपसे हो रही है फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी की, और हमने कहा दो तरह की फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमीज हैं. एक प्रिजर्वेटिव फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी है which simply refers to blindly following repetitive activities such as every day getting up at 7 o'clock, taking your breakfast and running towards your workplace. That is preservative functional autonomy. Now this functional autonomy helps you, or you retain this functional autonomy even after retirement. यानी रिटायर हो जाने के बाद भी आप 7 बजे ही उठते हैं, नाश्ता करते हैं और तैयार हो जाते हैं, और आपका जाहिर है दिल चाह रहा होगा कि दफ्तर जाएं, बट यू कांट गो देयर. So that is your preservative functional autonomy, that is blindly following a set of routine which was very much useful some time back but which is not useful now, but still you are following it. So that is your preservative functional autonomy. ये आपके survival के को ensure करती है. The second set of functional autonomy, that is appropriate functional autonomy. It refers to an individual's acquired set of interests, values, attitudes, intentions. और ये जो है ये आपके अंदर maturity और growth, which is the real goal of selfhood, it brings in you. Dear students, that is as far as functional autonomy is concerned. हमने कहा कि the concept of functional autonomy relates to the concept of motivation, और हमने ये कहा कि हर personality theory tries to explain what is motivation. Similarly, Gordon Allport is also trying to explain the phenomena of motivation. Number 2, he is talking about two types of functional autonomies: preservative functional autonomy and appropriate functional autonomy. एक जो है वो आपके फिजिकल सर्वाइवल पे फोकस कर रहा है, एक आपके साइकोलॉजिकल सर्वाइवल के लिए की तरफ फोकस कर रहा है. बोथ आर इम्पोर्टेंट. जनाब, इसके बाद आपसे आज डिस्कस करना है एक बहुत अहम और इम्पोर्टेंट एप्लीकेशन ऑफ गॉर्डन ऑलपोर्ट्स थ्योरी, और वो है स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज. नाउ स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज इज अ साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट, और ये जो टेस्ट है इट ट्राइज टू फोकस ऑन सर्टेन वैल्यूज. जिन वैल्यूज की तरफ ये फोकस करता है वो है थ्योरेटिकल, इकोनॉमिकल, एस्थेटिक, सोशल, पॉलिटिकल, रिलीजियस. कुछ ऐसी वैल्यूज की तरफ फोकस करता है जो हम देखना चाहते हैं कि हर इंडिविजुअल में कितनी है. Now this is the application of his theory. Application, the study of values. Allport stressed that a mature person needs a unifying philosophy of life to make sense of his or her existence. An individual's philosophy is founded upon values, basic convictions about what is and what is not of real importance in life. Allport worked hard to identify and measure basic value dimensions. He helped significantly to develop the study of values, which was originally published in 1931 and later in 1960. Within the context of trade theory, this instrument illustrates Allpott's ability to dissect an enormously complex component of personality, that is values, into empirically measurable terms. Dear students, we are talking to you about Gordon Allpott's study of values, और हमने आपसे ये कहा कि this is basically a very major application of his theory where he is trying to dissect a very important personality or the value system prevalent in a person, and he is trying to measure it through an instrument, through a test, जिसको उसने नाम दिया study of values. Now this test was originally designed in 1931, modified in 1960, and a number of revisions are there, and this test was developed along with the idea of measuring values that are prevalent in an individual's personality. और हमने ये कहा जो values prevalent हैं वो 6 हैं जिनके ऊपर गॉर्डन ऑलपॉट का फोकस है. Following are Sprenger's basic value types as depicted in Study of Values Manual. Number 1, theoretical. The theoretical person is primarily concerned with discovery of truth. He or she assumes a cognitive attitude in pursuing this objective, seeking only to observe and to reason, and in doing so, the theoretical individual searches for fundamental identities and differences, rejecting any consideration of beauty or utility. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज की, और हमने ये कहा कि जो स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज का जो टेस्ट है, इसका जो मैनुअल है, उस मैनुअल में स्प्रेंगर ने जिन वैल्यूज के ऊपर, जाहिर है जो स्कोरिंग सिस्टम या जो मैनुअल में डिटेल्स हैं अबाउट दिस वैल्यूज हैव बीन गिवन टू अस बाय अ पर्सन नेम स्प्रेंगर, और उसमें जो पहली वैल्यू के ऊपर फोकस करें वो है थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू. जिन लोगों में थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू ज्यादा होगी, दे आर ओनली फोकस्ड ऑन फाइंडिंग द ट्रुथ. सच क्या है और उस सच तक किस तरह पहुंचना है, दे आर मोर कंसर्न्ड विद इट. सो दोज इंडिविजुअल्स हु आर मोर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट व्हाट इज द ट्रुथ, दे वुड बी फॉलोइंग इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू टाइप. नंबर 2, द इकोनॉमिक. The economic individual places high value upon what is useful. He or she is thoroughly practical, conforms closely to stereotype of successful American businessman, rooted originally in the satisfaction of bodily needs such as self-preservation. The economic value gradually extends to the everyday affairs of the business world, the production, the marketing and consumption of goods, the elaboration of credit and the accumulation of tangible wealth. The economic person is interested in making money. So the second type of value, or those people who score high on this value, are labeled as the economic type of people who know the value of money, who are very much interested in making more money, who are very much interested in saving that money. So people concerned with business, marketing, production, consumption of goods, being very careful with their earnings, being very intelligent with their earnings, well, we label them as the economic type of person who value a lot, who give a lot of importance to money. The third type of person, the aesthetic. The aesthetic person places highest value on form and harmony, judging each single experience from the standpoint of grace, symmetry, or fitness. He or she perceives life as a procession of events, with each individual impression enjoyed for its own sake. Such an individual need not be a creative artist, but is aesthetic to the degree that his or her chief interest is in the artistic episodes of life. The third important value, and that is aesthetic. वो लोग जो हर चीज की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, फॉर्म, सिमेट्री से डील करते हैं, दे आर दी एस्थेटिक टाइप. जिस शख्स के अंदर हिस्से जमालियात और जो शख्स हर चीज़ को उसके वो इम्पोर्टेंस हुस्न को और उस चीज़ की अरेंजमेंट को, उसकी सिमेट्री को, उसकी फॉर्म को, उसकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को दे रहा है, वी से दैट पर्सन इज एन एस्थेटिक टाइप ऑफ अ पर्सन and he is going to score high on the aesthetic value. Number 4, the social. The highest value of the social type is love of people. Since the study of value focuses upon the aspects of love as opposed, for example, to familiar love, social persons are themselves kind, sympathetic, unselfish. Such a person is likely to experience the theoretical, economic and aesthetic attitudes as cold and inhuman, regarding love as the only suitable form of human relationship. In its purest form, the social attitude is selfless and is closely related to the religious value. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब 4th important value की, the social. और हमने ये कहा the social type of a person is one who believes in love, who's unselfish, who's not self-centered or narcissistic. He is more concerned about doing good for others. और ये वो type है which is totally opposed to the economic type, is socially the opposite of the economic type. But this is a type of person who would be going more for helping others, who would be less selfish, who would be more, let's say, the social type of a person. और जो इस वैल्यू में ज़्यादा स्कोर कर रहा होगा would be one who would be doing, let's say, good work for others. Number 5, the political. The dominant interest of the political individual is power. Vocational activities of this type of person are not necessarily confined to the realm of politics, since leaders in any field generally place a high value on power. Because competition and struggle are inherent in all life, many philosophers have argued that power is the most universal and fundamental human motive. However, for Sprenger, there are clear individual differences in power value. For certain personalities, direct expression of this motive overrides all other in that they yearn for personal power, influences and renown above all else. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब 5th इम्पॉर्टेंट वैल्यू की, पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू की. हमने ये कहा कि जिन लोगों के अंदर पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू ज़्यादा होगी वो ऐसे पॉलिटिकल टाइप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल होंगे who would be having more yearning for having more power. और ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो सिर्फ पॉलिटिक्स में हो, बल्कि वो जिस भी फील्ड में होंगे they would be more wanting to have more power and to assert that power and to use that power. Number 6 and the last one, the religious value. Religious individuals place their highest value upon unity, fundamentally mystical. They seek to understand and experience the world as a unified whole. Sprenger describes the religious person as one who is permanently oriented towards the creation of the highest and absolutely satisfying value experience. They are, however, different modes of seeking the level of experience. For instance, some religious persons are individuals who find religious meanings in the affirmation and active participation in life, while others are transcendental mystics, striving to unite themselves with the higher reality by withdrawing from life, such as the monks. Regardless of the particular type of expression, the religious person basically seeks unity and higher meaning in the cosmos. Dear students, we are talking to you about the 6th value which is given a lot of importance, and that is religious type or the religious value. Now, religious individuals are those who are either involved in offering a lot of prayers, who are either involved in moving towards or moving away from responsibilities of life and occupying a very isolated, secluded section of a place, and would spend whole of their life finding truth, or praying, such as the monks. Now, the person who scores high on religious value would somehow be trying to develop a relationship with the Supreme Creator, or trying to develop a relationship with one's spiritual self. जनाब, बात आपसे हो रही है गॉर्डन ऑलपॉट के स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज की, और हमने ये कहा कि इस स्टडी ऑफ वैल्यूज में द फोकस इज ऑन 6 टाइप्स ऑफ वैल्यूज: द थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू, द इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू, द एस्थेटिक वैल्यू, द सोशल वैल्यू, द पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू एंड द रिलीजियस वैल्यू. नाउ द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर टेस्ट or this particular tool lies in assessing, measuring personality according to a very complex construct of values. What values an individual possesses? Is it theoretical value? Is it social value? Is it political value? Is it religious value? कौन सी वैल्यू है जिसमें एक इंडिविजुअल ज़्यादा स्कोर करता है? ये टेस्ट पाकिस्तान में अवेलेबल है. इस टेस्ट को एकेडमिक कॉलेज पॉपुलेशंस में बहुत एक्सटेंसिवली इस्तेमाल किया गया है. इस टेस्ट पे जो रिजल्ट्स ज़्यादातर आए हैं उसमें जो एक बड़ा आपके साथ शेयर किया जा सकता है वो ये है कि यूजुअली गर्ल्स आर स्कोरिंग मोर इन आवर पॉपुलेशन. दे आर स्कोरिंग मोर ऑन इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू एंड एस्थेटिक वैल्यू, and that shows that for college going girl population these two values are important. Dear students, we are talking to you about Gordon Allport state theory. जनाब, अभी summary और evaluation बाकी है. We'll talk about it in our next lecture. Take care of yourself. Go through the PowerPoint slides. Hope to see you in the next lecture. Khuda Hafiz.